Strategies for Adult Education. I am Amy Julian, and I am the director for the Illinois Center for Specialized Professional Support at Illinois State University. With me this afternoon is Brittany Boston, who is our Associate Director for Equity and Outreach, and Sarah Goldammer, who is a training specialist for the Southern Illinois Professional Development Center. We are also excited to have some of your peers with us today. This series, just a couple housekeeping items before we get started. All of you are in listen only mode. We do encourage you to participate through the chat, or if you want to post in the chat or raise your hand or use one of those fun icons and let us know that you want to engage, we can unmute individuals as we go. And what we have in our agenda for you today is a little bit of evidence-based practices. So we're going to walk through some of those EBPs and look at what the research is telling us around recruitment. We're going to hear from your adult education peers. Today we have individuals from Moraine Valley, not sure why it says View there, Community College, and then also Joliet Junior College. One of the things we'd like you to do as we go through this session is we'd like you to nod your head. We're hoping you're agreeing with these strategies, seeing things that you've heard before, or maybe reading things that you're wanting to try. We want you to scratch down a note, and then we also want you to smile, because we're hoping that you are at least entertained and engaged for the next hour that we have together. Just a little note, this is a 3-part series on recruitment. We will be telling you before we're done today about another 3-part series that we're going to do on engagement and retention. So exciting news coming up there. And we're looking, the first time we got together last Thursday, we talked about Facebook, and we looked at ways in which we can recruit through Facebook. Then we were together on Tuesday and talked about geofencing, what geofencing is, and really looked at ways in which programs can use geofencing. Today, we've got some fun tips for recruiting, and then we're going to show you what programs are using TikTok and YouTube. So if you have not been on those platforms, you are going to be excited to be on them probably by the end of the hour. So let's start off.
Amy?
Oh, sorry.
Amy,
go ahead, Sarah.
Sorry, can I interrupt you just a minute?
Yeah.
You know, technology is always interesting, and we love when we harness technology, but I'm seeing some black boxes on my your shared screen. From my screen, it's on the left-hand side. So I don't know if there's any way that there's something that's open that you can close before we go any farther. Okay.
Are you?
Yeah, that actually put an extra one on. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this one is. Please move this window away.
Okay, there we go. That took care of one of them. That's good.
I think it's your little Zoom toolbars that for
yeah,
some
and
reason
it's not moving. I can move it a different spot, but it won't go away.
Well, that certainly helped to take away the one that was on the left-hand side. It's better.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, now is it better?
There we go. That's much better.
Let's see if that works.
With me, nod your head if you're agreeing.
Nod your head. Yes, out there in the virtual world, nod your head. What?
Okay. Amy wanted you to nod your head sometime and smile. So now
we do it on cue, like we're cueing you up to nod your head. Are you good? Everybody nodding?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry about that. Zoom is a weird one because I can't see audience view. And I will say I really like that crutch that some other platforms provide us. So back to the regular scheduled program. Tips for recruiting. First and foremost, get excited and challenge the status quo. You can't fix the problem with the same thinking that got you into the issue that you're in now. We are in a whole new world, this brave new world that we have found ourselves in. We might not necessarily want to be here. This is not where we thought we would be. Last year at this time, I did not say, oh my gosh, the best thing ever would be to, be able to work from home for 2 weeks that turns into 7 months. That sounds awesome. No, that's not what we wanted, but that's where we are. So get excited, challenge the status quo. If nothing changes, then nothing changes. So we want you to first think about the process of enlisting, that idea of getting individuals into your programs and what has been working and what hasn't been working, and really take some time on self-reflection and making sure we get the right people to the table to have this discussion. One of the things that we want you to think about is we can't afford to pretend that nothing has changed. We can't afford to pretend that the world is where it was in February of 2020. The world's a whole different place now. So we have to stop, take a minute, and if you haven't done so already, look at ways in which we can change our recruiting, change our retention, change our engagement strategies to serve our students, because we can't afford to pretend that nothing has changed. We need to accept that we're in a new world, and being in this new world is really crucial for our success. And then one of the things that we also want you to think about is it's time to be creative. It's time to get excited about those places that we haven't been before. And it's time to really think about things that we can do, especially around recruitment, engagement, which then leads to retention for our students, that we haven't had to embark on before. So I want you to kind of take a breath and say, you know what? Yes, the world is the way it is. And there are certain things that are out of our control. And there's a whole training that we've done on, what are those things you can control? What are those things you can influence? And what are those things that you can't control? And when you really look at the things that we can control, that list is pretty small. So let's get excited about the idea that there's going to be change. There is change, and let's embrace that change. So some of the things that we can do to embrace that change is leverage new technology. And that's really what this series and the next series that we're going to do is about. How do we operate within this new virtual realm? All right. I am a Marvel fan. I have 2 boys, so we talk about realms and Guardians of the Galaxy and all that good stuff. So how do you leverage new technology in this realm that we found ourselves in? Find what works for your team and for your program. We've shown you a couple things over the last week. We're going to show you some more things in November, but not everything's going to work well for you. So find what works for your team and your program. You are unique. Find what works for you. We're showing you a lot of innovative ideas, and I'm excited that our presenters are here to share these innovative ideas with us. But again, when it comes to what you need, think about what you need for you. As a personal note, we've been looking for a project management system for ICSPS now for about 6 months, because we did things differently when we were all in person and sitting in an office together. And now we're doing things differently because we're all working remote. So find things. Start small, but start somewhere. If you leave this series, if you leave here today, I want you to think about one thing that you're going to do that's going to be different. One thing that you're going to do that you're going to start that's going to impact or engage with individuals around recruitment for your program. Start small, but start somewhere. And if you listened last week, Chris told us about all these phenomenal things that you can do with Facebook. And Kathy told us about all these great innovative ideas that you can do with Facebook. And I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I want you to think about, what can I do today? And then implement that. And then what can I do a week from now? And kind of look at it in a bite-size platform or bite-size timeline that allows you to start small, but start somewhere. And then engage. We want to engage with your potential and your current students. We want to be sure that you're talking with them, letting them know about the supports that are available to them. Some of the supports that were common prior to the pandemic are now not as common. So how are those supports changed? How are we able to direct our students where they need to go? Sarah and Brittany, is there anything you want to add to this slide?
I think I would add too, when you mention engage with potential and current students, also don't be afraid to engage with your fellow adult ed programs. Today we have a couple of programs that are sharing some of the things that are working for them. If you find something on here that you're like, wow, I didn't know I could do that, I want to know more, don't be afraid to reach out to them. I know I'm speaking for them, but I would imagine they would be more than happy to answer any questions and share more information with you as well. So absolutely reach out to your fellow programs, because we are all in this together to see what's been working for them that maybe is out of the box for what you've been using recently.
Excellent. Great point. Fantastic point.
And if I could just add to what Brittany had to say, I think that's a great point. I would also, looking at your slide here, Amy, it talks about trying something out and starting small. And I think I would just encourage people to try something. You modeled for us very well, Amy, that not everything always goes right, and that's okay. Nothing, know to try something. And sometimes our students will actually enjoy that more, that it's not all perfect, that it is more like, okay, let's figure this all out together.
I think that's a fantastic point, Sarah. And I do want you all to think about, don't be afraid of trying technology. Don't feel that it should impede your ability to engage with technology. because sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't. And the important thing is finding what works for you, finding which platform works for you, finding which delivery system, finding which engagement tool. Maybe you like Remind, maybe you love Zoom. It doesn't matter. As long as it works for you, that's what's important, that you're finding a way to do your work, to engage with your students, to recruit those students, to get the word out about your amazing program. Find what works for you. This tip is just a fun one. Be intentional in representing all students, and this is really in your marketing. So as you're marketing your programs and as you're excited about your programs, be sure that your marketing is representative of the students in your program, but also representing all students. And we talked about this the first time, but I just want to make sure that it's touched on again. We're going to talk about word of mouth marketing and how it is critical and often overlooked as part of recruitment. And it probably comes as no surprise that students often hear about programs from friends or coworkers. In fact, statistics say, and this came from Forbes, that 40% of students hear about a chosen program from a friend, colleague, family member, or teacher. So that's where they're hearing from things. And I want you to rethink word of mouth. We talked about word of mouth last Thursday, and I had a couple programs individuals follow up with me and say, well, yeah, but we're 6 feet apart now. So I want to kind of revisit this to challenge you, rethink about word of mouth. When you think about how you communicate with your friends, with your coworkers, with your colleagues, with your family members, in the era of COVID, it might not be in face-to-face or in-person conversation, but think of word of mouth as text, tweets, posts, shares, all are word of mouth communications. And when we learn about geofencing, we're able to talk about the way in which you can set those geo perimeters around your program and then be getting the word out, be sending those texts, be in front of your potential students as you're engaging with programs. So I want you to rethink word of mouth. And word of mouth marketing, which has a fun acronym because we love acronyms in state of Illinois, right? Adult education loves acronyms. WOOM is our new acronym, word of mouth marketing. And if you can master what has been identified as the most valuable form of marketing, and that is that customers trust above all others, and the ones that is most likely to drive enrollment of your program would choose to ignore it if you leave it at chance. So that's something I want you to think about. How do you engage with your students, and how is that word of mouth being shaped? And are you, most importantly, are you providing opportunities for your students to share out what their great experiences were? So can they share out on your social media blast? Are you sharing those success stories? Forbes has us look at the facts, and there is, according to a Nielsen study, 92% of customers believe recommendations from friends, family over all other forms of advertising. So we are on the brink of, well, we're not the brink of, we're well immersed into the election season, and a lot of decisions are going to be made. And think about where you're getting your information and what information you're trusting. Or think about when you're looking at the way in which we're responding or engaging or avoiding individuals because of the pandemic. Where are we getting our information? Who are we trusting with that information? Now, pivot that for a second and think about your program. How are you sharing information about your program? Are you using those mechanisms, those channels, those communication avenues that are being used, that are trusted by your cohort, your individuals, your students? So think about that. One of the things that I want you to think about is, as we look at word of mouth marketing and as we look at building numbers, there is a lot of research that says that collecting instead of connecting. And I challenge you that when you're looking at connecting with students and when you're looking at marketing your program, when you're looking at recruiting students, that you are connecting instead of collecting. 64% of marketing executives indicate that they believe word of mouth is the most effective form of marketing, and only 6% say they have mastered it. So you're like, that's great, Amy, that's Forbes. Why are you telling me about Forbes? Because I want you to think about your program as something that you are, in the list of all the other duties you have, you are this salesperson for your program. I have listened to how much you love your students. I have listened to how you engage with others when you're talking about your work. I have seen the passion that adult education providers, administrators, teachers all have as they talk about the great work that they do. And they should, because it is phenomenal work. I challenge you to share that enthusiasm, bottle that enthusiasm, and share it as you're marketing your programs, as you're talking to your students, as you're engaging with your potential students as to what services you can provide for them. Just something to think about. Brittany, Sarah, anything I need to add to that?
I'm just going to mention that what you're going to see modeled here from our two programs is exactly what Amy just shared with you. I know for all three of these women and their entire programs, they definitely have been dedicated to finding ways to connect with their students. They've been dedicated to finding ways to show their enthusiasm. And I think you're going to see that in what they share with you. So I just can't even underline how important that is, that our students and potential students feel that.
So just a couple more slides here real quick. There are 3 E's of successful recruiting. There is to engage, equip, and empower. We want you to engage with your students. Listen to what they're telling you, your current students, about your program. Be a part of the conversation that's branding your program, whether that be online, in person, through text. Be present in your classrooms and talk about what you can do for your students. And then equip. Give them a reason to talk. It can be amazing what you are able to share when you talk to your students about why they're in your programs, why they benefit from your programs. Capture, as I said, bottle that enthusiasm that you have, but also that your students have, and then empower them. Empower them to share that information. So, and I know we're going to hear about it here in just a minute, so I'm getting very excited to hear all about it, but empower your students to share their success stories. Those are going to be some of your best marketing pieces. And I know you all are passionate about your work, and I know you all do great work because of that passion. So we want to be sure that we're sharing that excitement, sharing how we can serve the students, because we're the solution. Adult education is the solution to the problem that has been caused by COVID. Let me say that again for a second. Adult education is the solution to the problem that has been caused by COVID. Now, I'm not talking about the disease and the death. I'm talking about the economic issues that have been created because of COVID. I'm talking about the challenges that families are facing. This is an opportunity for them to upskill. This is an opportunity for them to engage. And so what we want to do is to show them that we are a solution to some of the problems that have been happening because of COVID. And then again, in all great marketing, I want you to ensure that there's a clear space to go to get answered. So we talked about your web page on Thursday, we talked about geofencing on Tuesday. And back to that point, we want to ensure that on your websites, how many of you, go ahead, raise your hand. I can see you, raise your hand. How many of you have looked at your website and said, there's a couple things I want to change on my website since we talked last? Because if you've looked at your website and there's a place for your students to apply, and there's a clear place for them to go for answers, and they can hear all about all the great things that you can do for them, then you are knocking it out of the park. If you're missing any of those things, let's take another look at your website and see how we can get those things up there. Sound great? Again, I'm hoping you're as excited about this program as I am. And I want to tell you that we're going to continue the party. We're not done yet. SIPDC and ICSPS enjoy working together, and we're sharing that excitement with you. So we have 3 dates coming up in early November. We're going to be talking about engagement and retention. And as my dear friend Bevan says, you cannot retain if you don't engage, and you can't engage if you don't retain. And so 2 to 3 p.m. on these dates, November 10th, we're going to talk about taking time to care, being a mentor, mentoring, offering mentors, and then office hours. Of course, virtual office hours, but what those look like and how those can help your program. November 17th, we're going to talk about classroom strategies for being and staying connected, virtual cohorts, virtual learning communities, showing your camera, which I am doing a bad job of today because of my internet connection, but how we'll talk about how the research shows that it's really important to help you be engaged. And then on the 19th, we're going to talk about harnessing technology for engagement. We're going to talk about Google Classroom, Zoom, and Flipchart. And again, it's going to be the same format. 15 minutes of evidence-based research, and then 30 minutes of hearing from your peers. So with that, I'm going to hand the floor over to Sarah, and she is going to introduce our phenomenal programs, both Kathy, Laura, and Christian, who have joined us today.
Thanks, Amy. And we did have a request before we go on, and Kathy, if you want to go ahead and bring your screen up, the request was for you to repeat that. I think it was about what Bevan says about if you can't retain if you don't engage, and you can't engage if you don't retain. Was that what you said?
Exactly, yes. Bevan
Okay.
has said it probably 100 times over the last couple weeks. You can't retain if you don't engage, and you cannot engage if you do not retain.
There
So
you go.
you have to have them there to retain them, and you have to engage with them to keep them there.
So also, I just stuck in the chat as Kathy's bringing up her slides. If you're wondering, how do we know about these great programs and what they're doing? One of the ways that we know that is they tell us. And one of the ways that you can tell us is part of your professional development network for adult education on the Excellence in Adult Ed site has promising practices for recruitment, for intake, for instructional practices, for transitioning, for the entire program. So if you have something to share, and this happened last week, I said this last week, and several people reached out with great ideas. So please keep those coming, because then you can support not only your own students in your own program, but everybody across the state. So having said that, we're going to start with Kathy Kramer. She's here from Joliet Junior College. And I said this last week, but I have to say it again. The enthusiasm that JJC shows towards their students and to their programs is very obvious. And so we appreciate everything that they're doing in their own area, and then for all of us across the state. So let me be quiet and let Kathy talk.
Well, thank you so much. We are excited at Joliet Junior College. I feel like we're trying new things, and if it works, we build on it, and if it doesn't, we move on to something else. But I am Kathy Kramer, and I would just like to invite you to my new virtual office that I've recently set up. And what I've done is I've added this to my email signature so that if a student clicks on my Bitmoji, they could go to different things like ESL, and hopefully Zoom will take you to this, but they can click on it and it takes them right to Burlington English. Is Zoom showing this with me? Hopefully. So if they can click on anything in here, and it takes them to a site within Joliet or a software we're using. I have a Weebly website that I use to keep websites for ESL and HSE students. So it just has lots of information. And then I just threw in a few fun things that I thought. One of the things I've noticed with my students is when they come into my office, they pick up on everything in my office. So they know certain things about me now. And so the slug is one. I have a little slug in my, or not slug, sloth. And so if you click on it, you'll see a little video about sloth. So I tried to make it a little personal also. But they can click here and it takes them straight to our Facebook on one icon or to our YouTube video channel. So thought I would just share that with you. It's a little fun as we're trying to think of new ways to engage our students. It's fun to be a little bit creative with everything. All right, so, and just so I put this on my signature so that it always pops up and you can just click on it and it takes you right to where you need to be.
Kathy?
Yes.
Kathy, sorry to interrupt you, but people are having questions because they're really digging what you've got here. They want to know how you made your first slide with your Bitmoji and all of that. So can you talk a little bit about how you created that?
Yeah. First of all, set a whole bunch of time aside on the weekend because you think it's going to just be like a little bit of time, and then 8 hours later, you're still playing with it. But you learn a lot of new technology skills. I used Google Slides, and there's tons of videos on YouTube showing you how to do this, but I just used Google Slides. And then I did like a transparent background. And so I was able to do that. And then I just started adding things in. And then within Google Slides, you can add links. So I would link everything up. And then I saved it publicly so that it could be shared without anyone changing things within the document. But yeah, I definitely recommend, it's fun. You know, a lot of the public school teachers are doing it with their classes. So I think our students maybe are seeing it with their kids also, so they're familiar with it. But it's just a great way to link up to a lot of things that, a lot of information that you would be providing to students in a quick way. I kind of explained it to my husband, like it's like a summarized blog. You took everything you would put in a blog and put it on one page, but it's kind of interactive and fun. So at Joliet, we're all about fun, trying to engage students, have fun. But as I talk about our YouTube channel today, I do want to just say this is something new for us. So we are in the process of learning, which we like to do. And how we started out is we had a Facebook page, and as we were trying to get new students for this fall, we were trying to think of, you know, how can we engage them? And we started building on our Facebook page by doing Facebook Lives. So I started off by interviewing our ESL coordinator about the new orientation enrollment process, which is all online. And then I went in and I set up interviews with our early school leavers transition program. We invited all the high school counselors in our area. I had a student that I interviewed, and she was just wonderful. She shared some of her successes with online learning, and she had great tips for that. And then a few of the frustrations that she's experienced. And I told her she looks like a politician here, but she said, and she's very professional. I felt like I was a little underdressed for her. Felt a little bad, but she said this was good practice for her because she had a job interview coming up. So she felt like it was beneficial to her also. So we had, oh, and also I did an interview with one of our partners at the Plainfield Library. And that one was a great one because we got a lot of feedback from students, from the community on that one. And it really increased our reach on Facebook. So Facebook Lives have been something popular for us. And so we've been doing Facebook Lives for a little while, and we put our YouTube and Facebook on our DAIL page, or Department of Adult Education and Literacy. But we were talking with the media department at Joliet Junior College, and he said, well, what about your YouTube channel? I said, we don't have a YouTube channel. And he's like, well, you need to have a YouTube channel. So here's my Bitmoji, which you can download Bitmoji to make your classroom. And it's fun, you know, for everything. There's an answer for everything with the Bitmoji. But I felt really powerful when he said that. And I thought, wow, I didn't know I could make a YouTube channel. But I think that's part of it. If you don't ask and you just kind of wait, it doesn't happen. So I think I'm learning as we're going through all this, just ask, can I do this? And you know, if I can't, I can't. But before that, I was just making unlisted YouTubes and then sharing them on Facebook. But now we have the YouTube channel. And then we have it on our Department of Adult Education and Literacy. We make sure that it's a clickable link there also. We also include our Facebook, and we will be including our YouTube in our orientation, which is all online. So once I set up a YouTube for our department, I created different playlists. Well, first what I did is I asked my son, do I say followers or subscribers? I tried to get the vocabulary right because I didn't want to post on Facebook the wrong terminology for that social media. So I learned that first. Then I created playlists. So I have, I took my Facebook Lives and I created like student encouragement, just general information, IET bridge program. So I broke it into different categories. So in my head, I'm thinking a lot of our parents, you know, they want to know what's happening with our program. This is an easy way to do that. Our students can easily look here. And so now I'm using it a little bit differently. I've taken my Facebook Lives, which were a little bit long, but they were information we wanted to get out. So this is one that I did with one of our HSE teachers. She gave great tips on how to have a successful online semester. And then I'm taking that video that I did on Facebook Live, and I'm just taking one clip from that video. And then I can put it out on YouTube, and I just gave it the title of Time Management. And then I put it on Facebook also. So we're taking something I did several months ago, taking a clip from it. Now it's a YouTube video there that's in shortened, because we know students and ourselves, we want a short version of everything. And then I put it on Facebook too. So it's kind of like a 2-for-1. I can use it on YouTube. I can, well, actually even more than that, because I'm using something I did before. But you can use the same kind of information on YouTube and Facebook. And then another thing that I've been working on since COVID hit is, I know students, when I talk to them, they tell me, you know, Zoom is their favorite part of class because they feel like they're alone right now. They're learning everything by themselves. Sometimes they feel like, even though I know teachers are giving like more than 100% to helping them, they still feel kind of alone. So I wanted to create some videos that were short and were questions that were asked of us frequently that we could put on YouTube, Facebook, or send in an email. So I've started creating just a little short. This first one came, how to sign in Burlington English. I'd been helping a husband trying to log in his wife multiple times through email. It wasn't working. And I said, okay, hold on. And I'm going to send you a video. So I just quickly created a video in PowerPoint. And then in PowerPoint, you can export it to a video. So then I put it into YouTube. So it has a YouTube link. So it's just like 2 minutes, how to sign into Burlington. A lot of our students want to know, what is the process for getting my GED? So I did the same thing. I took them through starting with our classes, taking the GED Ready test, signing up for their test through the testing center. So the whole process in less than 5 minutes. And then a lot of our students struggle with how to set up their JJC email. So this one is, we had a PDF and I just took it and broke it up in PowerPoint and then went through it step by step with them. So I'll show you just a small version of this. What I did here is I used a site called Loom. And in Loom, you can use your PowerPoint, and then you can show video of yourself as you're recording. And the reason I wanted to do that is I want students to see me. I want them to know I'm still a part of their educational journey. And even though I don't see them face to face, I'm still here. And it's not professional by any means. I wanted it to have more of a feel like if that student's sitting in my office and I'm helping them to set up their JJC email, or I'm going into the classroom, I wanted it to sound a little, you know, just like me. So let me just play a small portion. Let me make sure I've got share video. Okay.
Welcome to Joliet Junior College Department of Adult Education and Literacy. My name is Kathy Kramer. Today I have a frequently asked question. How do I set up my JJC email?
So I take them through and then I use,
main page,
you know, we had a PDF already, so I'm just reusing material we had.
I'm going to click on Current Students. Current Students. This will take you to the next page with student login, and you're going to go down here until you find ID, username, password help. Click on this. To find your username.
So I think sometimes it gets a little, we create PDFs thinking how we learn, but I think they're a little overwhelming for students. But with this, they can keep going, back and watching a part that they don't understand until they get it. So this is something I've been adding to YouTube. I'm hoping to get our other support staff on board soon to create how-to videos also, so that we'll have a full library of frequently asked questions that are just short, to the point, but have that personal touch to them. And then as we move forward, yeah.
Can I interrupt one more time?
Yeah.
This might be another, I'm not going to say this is the last time I interrupt you, but can I?
I know you, Sarah.
So can you talk just a little bit about Loom, what Loom is and how somebody can get that?
Yeah, so so I signed up for a free account, and now with the EDU email, they give it to me, the pro version free. So what I do is I use the app on my computer for Loom, and then I just set up my PowerPoint, and then I click record, and then it just takes me through. I just start talking and going through each slide. Within Loom, like, you can circle different things if you want to. It's a really great site. You can do it with video or without.
So when you say that you can circle things, that's just one of the features, that you can use on there?
Yeah, like if you want to highlight something that you're talking about in the video.
Okay, great.
Yeah. But it's free, so I would definitely check it out. It's if you have the app on your computer, it's pretty easy to use. And then at JJC, we're for YouTube. It's, like I said, it's new for us, so we're hoping to create more content that's specifically for our YouTube channel, such as our frequently asked questions that we could send students to, or we can send in an email, and really build our audience. Because I know when I'm in the classroom, a lot of our students struggle with, hey, go Google, a synonym. That's difficult for them sometimes because they're not Googling things all the time, but they know how to use YouTube. That's something they'll share in class at break. They're all looking at a YouTube video. So I'm hoping that our site becomes one that, they share with their friends, even if, they're not taking a class right now, but here's some valuable information for you. And then that's the next step to get them into our program. So yeah, that's what we've got going on at JJC. Well, one of many fun things at JJC.
Thanks, Kathy. Hey, we've got a couple of questions. So if the Moraine Valley women are okay, let me give her just 2 or 3 questions, and then we'll turn it over to you. Somebody wants to know, how do you upload a PowerPoint to Loom? Is that a quick answer that you can give?
It is. So what you'll do is you'll just have your PowerPoint up, and then you'll go into your apps, just like you might have a PowerPoint app. I just type in, at the bottom where it's, I'll do Loom, and the app comes up, and then instructions will be there. You have to download it to your computer, make sure it's on your computer first. And then, yeah, really, it's just having your PowerPoint up and then clicking on that app, and then you'll just record.
Okay. And we've had some requests. Some people would like to take a look at some of your YouTube videos. So after you're not presenting anymore and you're not sharing your screen, would you be willing to give us a couple of links in the chat that people could?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then also there's been a request, if you have just a couple of tips, ideas, hacks for getting the camera settings for Facebook Live events. Any thoughts about that for?
So what I use for Facebook Live is a site called b.live, and it will stream onto Facebook. So we set up ahead of time. It's really nice because I can add here, like Early School Leavers Transition Program. Our names are up on the screen the whole time. I can see the comments coming in. So if you know, like when our student was giving great tips to be a successful student, I would kind of summarize those in the comments as she's talking. But everything that we do is through Be Live. And we use the free version, but if you get a paid subscription, you can have a panel of guests on also, which is, that's my goal.
All right, great. Okay, thank you very much, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you.
If you would, as the Moraine Valley women are getting prepped, if you would put some links, and then also maybe that Be Live that you were just talking about, if you would put that in print so people know what you're exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah, definitely. And if anyone has any questions, I love to share what we're doing, and I'd be happy to help.
Thank you very much. And so Kathy just perfectly illustrated what I said before she started talking. You know, that enjoyment, that enthusiasm is definitely infectious. And you're going to see that in our next team from Moraine Valley. We're thank very much Christian Torres and Lauren Zajac, who are here, and they're going to talk about TikTok. So let me be quiet and let them share with you what they're doing at their program.
Sorry, Sarah, I was muted this whole time.
Right now I'm just seeing me. Is everybody else seeing me? Because we want to see Christian's screen. There we go. That's much better.
There we go. All right, let's start this over. Hi, everybody. My name is Christian Torres. I'm the transition specialist for Moraine Valley Community College.
Hi, everybody.
And
I'm
go
Lauren.
ahead, Lauren.
Sorry, I'm Lauren Zajac. I'm the education specialist at Moraine Valley Community College, and we both work in the adult education departments. So today we're going to tell you a little bit about TikTok and why we thought this was a good direction to go in.
All right, so we're gonna share how we started using TikTok. So we started, we wanted to do TikTok because we do have other social media accounts. We have Facebook and Instagram. So we wanted to expand and try TikTok since TikTok is becoming more popular. There's a lot of, you know, videos that are being shared, dances, and so we just say, hey, let's try it. So we started this summer, and the goal was to, you know, get the word out about our program and just to let the students know that, you know, we were open and to encourage them to come and register for our fall classes. So we started making these videos, and it has been a collaborative effort. Lauren and I work together to create the content, and we also, you know, enlist the help of anyone who's here in the office. And we ask for their feedback, and we have been having a lot of fun creating content. So, you know, just a note for everybody, we didn't know how to use TikTok before. We went in this, you know, just not knowing how to use it. I don't have a personal account. Lauren doesn't have one either. So we just said, let's do it and let's learn as we go. And as I said before, it has been a fun experience so far. So now Lauren's going to talk a little bit about advertising, how we're using it for advertising.
So something that came up earlier in the presentation that I really liked was the idea of sharing everything word of mouth. And I think that that's been so far have been pretty straightforward and social media platforms. So we have a Facebook, we have an Instagram, we update both regularly. And as soon as we started our TikTok, we decided, okay, we also wanted our instructors, students. We know this fall has been very, very challenging for programs in terms of recruitment and retention. So we wanted to let our instructors know that TikTok is just another way that we are trying to make sure to get more students in the door. And then during our orientations that we host for our ESL and HSC classes, we shared all of our social media links with them. So, you know, maybe we don't have someone who uses Facebook and Instagram, but they're on TikTok. And then this is just one more way. So next, we're going to look at what's worked for us so far, as well as areas for improvement. Actually on campus. We are running hybrid classes, and this would be a very challenging project for us to take on if Christian and I both weren't on campus at the same time. The other thing that we definitely have to stress is that we have a department that is incredibly fun and incredibly open to trying new things and participating and sharing ideas. So every time we make a video, we enlist help.
Hey, Lauren.
Yes.
Lauren, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're kind of getting your sound is coming in and out. I don't know if there's anything that you can do to like with your microphone, but we're kind of losing you and you're going in and out.
Let's see, is this any better?
For right now, it's great. So
okay, perfect.
Keep our fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay, sounds good. So just looking at the next part, something that's been working for us too is that our department is really engaged and interested in being creative. So we've had that opportunity to make videos and see how they do and kind of learn from what's working and what's not. Something else that we've liked is a little tool called Linktree.
Ooh. Ow.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So with Linktree, what's cool about it is we are able to take all of our sources and sites and put them in one place. So for instance, if you go to our Instagram and you click on our Linktree, we'll get links to our landing page. We'll also get links to our other social media. So it's a great way to put kind of all of your information in one place and make it really accessible for students. And I think for us, the most important thing is that we have been very open to feedback. Like Christian mentioned before, neither of us use TikTok personally. I always was a little bit hesitant. I felt like I was outside the demographic of someone who could be a TikTok user. So we definitely are open to feedback to learn what has been successful for us and not. We've actually shared with family members and friends and had them take a look and tell us, you know, honest feedback. What do we need to be doing? Okay, so Chris is going to tell us a little bit about areas to improve.
Yeah, so one of the areas to improve for us is our level of comfort with the platform. Like we said before, we're just learning to use it, so we want to get better with it. And luckily, we have younger colleagues here, and you know they've been helping us learn the platform. We also want to do more consistent posts. Sometimes things get busy here in the office, and we don't get a chance to post as much as we like, but that's something we're currently working on. We also want to research trends. We want to see other videos, what other schools are doing, so we can create better content and really reach our students and just enhance your creativity. With TikTok, you can be very creative and you can just, you know, think of different possibilities of reaching the students. So it's a very good platform for creativity. And we want to connect with our students. We want to show them these videos. We want to, you know, make them smile through these times. And another thing is that since we have other social media accounts like Instagram and Facebook, sometimes it's hard to share between all three because we haven't connected them all. So we're working on that. And we're also going to use this TikTok to advertise in our flyers for our classes. So things that we're going to do in future plans, we want to, like I said, you know, improve our knowledge using this platform. And we're thinking of featuring student stories, as well as maybe creating a video that outlines the steps of how to register with us. And we just want to work to increase our views and our followers.
And something cool we're going to start doing is comparing our profile views on TikTok to incoming student data. This was suggested by one of our departmental assistants, so a shout out to Jen for this great idea. But we want to see if we can find any matches to see if TikTok is helping to drive more students through our doors. We also really want to survey our incoming students to learn how they heard about us and, learn what social media platforms that they're using, as well as any ideas that they have for us in order to increase our reach and our views. And then, as we mentioned previously, too, we want to make sure to advertise all of our social media accounts on our flyers. That's key, I think, moving forward to help gain more viewers.
And lastly, we're going to show you our TikTok page. So please let me know, Sarah, if the screen is up there. Can everybody see?
Yes, the screen's up.
Okay. So we have, we created so far 6 videos. Our first one, it's this one, and we just wanted to, let the word out about our classes. We had a phone number there, and we wanted to show that we're being safe, safety first, right? So let me show you. They're all very short clips, so we won't have you here long. So that was our first one. The second one, again, we wanted to emphasize, hey, we're being safe, but you can still come to class, come register. And this is our video with the most views. So we create everything with TikTok. You can put pictures, videos, pick any song you like. So we do have a lot of fun trying to come up with what song would go with the videos. And this is our next video. When I met you in the summer. And then our next video, we wanted to let our students know that, hey, you're going to get a free book if you come register. So here's that one. Who wrote the book of love? Tell me, who wrote the book of love? I've got to know the answer to all this. And we're almost done. This one, we just wanted to highlight our campus and say, hey, come, we're being safe, we're open. And you can't spell awesome without me. I promise that you'll never find another like me. I'm the only one of me. And you can't spell awesome. And we took one when the semester started in the fall. So we wanted to show our students, hey, we have hybrid classes and we're being safe. Everybody's wearing their mask and we're, staying 6 feet apart. And lastly, this is the latest video we have created. I want to give a shout out to my coworker, John Andres. He's our coordinator of records and assessment. Thank you, John. He was kind enough to participate in this video and help us create it. So here we go. So those are our videos. We hope you enjoyed them.
As you can see, we've gotten better over time. So at first we only used pictures and now we're getting more techie. The biggest thing that we wanted to stress from using TikTok is we want our students to know that we're embracing technology just like they do every day. And we want to have we're going to continue to make more videos moving forward, and we're going to keep trying to up that level of creativity.
Lauren and Christian, thank you so much. You're getting so many rave reviews in the comments. Make sure you go and take a look at those. I'm going to start my video up again just so that I can pretend like I'm actually seeing all of you out there. Yeah, your videos are awesome. Thank you to everybody for sharing different ways to engage with students. I think that's fabulous. There's a couple of questions if you have time. I think, Lauren, you already put a link in there to your videos, right? Okay, so that's there. Somebody asked if you could speak to the security. We've kind of heard some things in the news about TikTok. What have you found? What's your research?
So far, we are still embracing TikTok. I know it's been a very hot topic issue, especially with everything we've seen coming through politically as well. So far, we haven't noticed any issues. We are always on top of staying on top of the trends, and we're still embracing it. We're moving forward with it. But of course, if something comes up, we definitely would pivot in a different direction.
But you haven't actually at Moraine Valley, you have not experienced any issues.
We have not, no.
Okay. And did you create an account using your Moraine Valley Community College email addresses? Or yes?
Yes, we did. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And you've got that. Let's see if there's anything else. Lauren, could you put the TikTok link back in, because we've had, I think it got covered up with all the kudos to the great job that you're doing. So it's pretty far up. You got to scroll past all the great video comments that are there. Okay, thanks. All right. Again, I think that all our presenters today have perfectly illustrated the points that Amy made earlier about engaging with your students, the importance of meeting them where they are, embracing this time as let's find some new ways to reach out to our students and to engage. So I hope that everybody's picked up some new ideas, some new thoughts. I don't know, we're about to the end of the time. Are there any other questions or comments or before we go today? Again, if you put a question in earlier, it's possible that it got covered up. We had a lot of great comments today. Otherwise, Amy, do you have anything you want to share with us before we sign off today?
No, thank you. Oh, that was a fantastic. I loved all the questions, and I really need to get into TikTok. So I'm guilty of not being a TikTok mom yet. So I'm have to work on that. I just want to encourage everybody to consider joining us as we move into November for retention and engagement. And thank you all for your time, and really have a great day and get out there and think about how we can market our programs to find those students and help those students that will be so helped by our programs or are beneficial from our programs. Thank you.
Hey, thanks everybody for everything, to all of our presenters today, and to all
Yes.
for all that you're doing to, to reach your students and to teach your students. We really appreciate all of you.
Thank you. Have a great day.